Standing here with the 2010 Olympic gold medal winner in skeleton, Jon Montgomery from the Vancouver Olympics. Of course, Jon, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Winnipeg again. First of all, tell us about skeleton. How does one get into skeleton growing up?
I think you have to be looking for something and be at the right place at the right time, just like I was. I was definitely looking for something in my life in 2002, and I stumbled across a skeleton race at COP, and it spoke to me. It basically yelled at me, "You need to try me, Jon! You need to be on the sled!"
And it was one of those moments.
Oh, yeah. It was one of those moments.
Yeah.
And so I did try it 2 weeks later and did those first couple descents, and I was hooked. I was a skeleton junkie from that day forward.
Growing up from Russell, Manitoba, of course, Dakota Collegiate today obviously having the fundraiser, raising funds to get a brand new field here for a multi-sport field. Obviously a great cause. How much does sport mean in high school at that age group?
Paramount. At the risk of alienating myself from every other teacher than the phys ed teacher, I think it's as important as the academics that you're learning in school. The lessons that are learned through sport are the things that are going to stick with you in life. Algebra, haven't done a lot of it since grade 12, but working together as a team, working together towards common goals, being a part of something that's greater than yourself are things that you need for every job that you're ever going to have. Very few people are able to be entrepreneurs out of high school. And so you're going to have to learn to work within a community and work towards things. And that's what sport teaches people, besides just the physical activity part, staying healthy and getting out there and having fun.
Right. Amateur athletes in Canada, they do receive stipends from the federal government. Yeah. So they are somewhat financially supported, but we're not talking about millions of dollars here, right? As you know, a lot of amateur athletes need a full-time job on the side, right? How much of a challenge is that to not only work for a living, but train in a sport professionally?
It is incredibly challenging, but I think it's something that we need to continue to do. Amateur athletes don't need, nor do they deserve, millions of dollars to do something that they'd been doing for free their entire lives up till this point, till they started to wear the Canadian flag. At that point, I do believe that you deserve the support that we get from our federal government, and we earn every cent of that $1,500 a month that you can earn as an A1 level carded athlete. But to say that they need millions or deserve millions is a gross overstatement. We look after our athletes as well here in Canada as they do anywhere else in the world. What we don't get is rich from corporate endorsements, and we shouldn't, because we're playing sports for the love of the game and to represent our country. And there are people who would give their eye teeth to have that maple leaf on their chest representing Canada on the world stage. And it's a real privilege and something that shouldn't be taken for granted and something that people shouldn't balk at when they don't feel like they're getting rich because they're doing it.
That's one of the things I love about you, Jon. You love this country, you love living in Canada, you're a big patriot. Where do you think your Canadian pride comes from?
Initially, my father. You need to be educated to understand that you're incredibly lucky to be able to call yourself a Canadian long before you realize what it's all about and paying taxes and learning the rest about the country. So it starts at home. It starts by your parents instilling in you from a young age that we need to explore our own backyard because you've got more here than anybody ever can lay claim to in the rest of the world. And you're profoundly lucky to have a Canadian passport so that you can travel the rest of the world, appreciate what you've got at home, be celebrated abroad. And since then, I've been lucky enough to be mentored by other coaches, international organizations like Bobsleigh Canada Skeleton, and you wouldn't even be able to have a pulse not to feel the pride that I get in this country.
Yeah.
You can't create goosebumps. Those aren't fake.
Just talking about it.
Just talking about it. And so it is real, and I think it started at home for me.
When you won the gold in 2010, obviously your life has changed in many ways, I'm guessing, since that day.
Sure.
Any interesting fan interactions since that moment that you've run into?
There's been lots. There's been so many memorable moments, some really funny, some less funny. I've signed a pregnant belly. That was at the games. Met a small person at Shoppers Drug Mart one night. It's about 12:30. I went to get batteries because our smoke alarm was going off or something like that, dead battery.
Yeah.
So I'm there at 12:30 at night buying batteries. This little person in front of me goes, "Hey man, I know you. My wife works with your old roommate." And he freaked out, lost his mind, 12:30 at night, and he's walking out the store with some expletives under his voice, go, "Man, expletive, that was Jon Montgomery." He wasn't even talking to me, he was just leaving the store. So he was pumped. And so to meet a person like that at 12:30 at night when you're like, why am I even at Shoppers Drug Mart getting batteries?
Yeah.
You meet somebody that was pumped to see you. I think he was probably there for the same reasons, and that was pretty cool.
How many people have handed you a pitcher of beer? I mean, is that getting old at this point or no?
No, lots of people talk about it.
Yeah.
Very few people actually go that extra mile and go get that pitcher of beer. So if you're out there thinking, oh, next time I see Jon Montgomery, I'm going to mention that pitcher of beer, do it. But follow through on it.
Dakota Collegiate, I think you should follow through on that. You guys standing over there. That's perfect. Okay, thanks so much for your time, Jon.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.